me here, solo, as is sometimes the way these days, looking at a new pedal from Strymon called the Compadre. It is a dual purpose pedal, has a compression side and a boost side, and it's one of the refreshingly simpler pedals that Strymon have released over the last few years. It's two completely discrete effects, a compression which I can switch between a studio and a squeeze, so kind of one's designed to sound like a sort of like a vintage rack studio compressor, squeeze more like a conventional pedal compressor, guitar pedal compressor. And then the other side is a boost function which I can set to be either a clean or a dirty boost, and I can voice it depending whether I want it to be like a treble boost, a mid boost, or a flat overall boost. Going to run two parts to this video. The first part into the Iridium. It was a pedal that Strymon released last year as an amp simulator. So what you're hearing for this first part is just these two pedals straight into the desk, a little bit of reverb applied from Logic, I believe. So not tiny bit of room reverb from the Iridium, but most of what you're hearing is the Logic reverb. So, and then we'll switch it round and I'll integrate the Compadre into my normal pedal board and play it through an amp. So if I turn the Compadre off, I have got this set to a round tone with a cab C, which is kind of Fendery. There it is. Great sound, really like that sound. I'm listening through a pair of studio monitors in the room here, and I'm very happy with that sound, not feeling like it doesn't sound real. So let's go through the compression side first. It's a parallel compressor, which means we can adjust the compression level and blend in some dry signal as well if we want to. So let's turn the dry off. Let's just have the compressed tone for now, and let's listen to the studio compressor. It's such a feel effect, the compressor, because you know, as the player, you immediately realize that your sound is more controlled and tighter. I suppose, you know, it's a great rhythm kind of effect. You haven't got to worry too much about what your right hand's doing, because that sort of some of the dynamics are squeezed out of it. If I turn the compression down, again, we've got no dry signal here. This is just the compressed sound. It's more subtle at that point. I think I like it slightly turned up a bit. You can really hear that attack that kind of... Bit more compression. Let's turn it 3/4 of the way up. Great, I love it. It's so clean. It's like a... It sounds wonderful. Let's play around with this parallel idea then. So if I blend in some dry, let's see what happens. It's hard. It's really weird. It's changing the feel for me as the player, probably more than it's audibly changing. just putting a little bit more brightness on that initial attack, you know. Definitely a little fuller, a little bit brighter on that initial attack. I'm a relative compressor novice, I must admit. I've just started using a compressor on my most recent pedal board, so probably at the beginning of this year, and really liking it, finding that I'm turning it on more and more and more. So I'm going to switch over to the traditional, the squeeze mode, which is designed to be more like a traditional guitar compressor pedal. It's supposed to be like a harder kind of compression. So let's sort of see. I'm conscious of the fact that for that first bit, when I play, I probably pick overly hard. So, you know, I have a tendency to dig in, which I don't know. Sometimes I know through playing direct into a desk, sometimes it's good to try and compensate and do that less, because the desk doesn't sometimes have the natural compression that a tube amp would have. But if maybe I played my fingers. It's just a lovely full sound. You know. It's really addictive, the compressor. It's one of those, as I said, for the listener, it's nothing like as obvious as chucking a distortion pedal on or a chorus or something like that. But for the player, and I wonder sometimes perhaps for the engineer as well, it's just a great pedal to have, because it just does, I suppose it does exactly what it says on the tin. It just kind of, it takes all of the unwanted spikes and everything out. And also perhaps you know, like the bits where perhaps you don't hit a note quite hard enough, and it just smooths it out in a really nice, pleasant way. It's very pleasant to the ears. So anyway, that was the compressor and the studio and the squeeze side of things. There is a boost side. Now I've got it going into the Iridium. I'm probably going to use the boost more when I've got it with my pedal board, and because I use boost a lot to go into another distortion pedal to just give it sort of a fatter tone. But here's the boost in its clean setting. Doesn't do a lot at kind of 9 o'clock. Let's go halfway. Might need to compensate a little bit for level over here on the Iridium. Let's have a look. I've got it in its flat mode, so it's generally boosting everything rather than a specific frequency. Let's try, I mean, I'm not sure how nice these are going to sound over a clean sound, but let's try. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get some more driven tones out the Iridium and then jump over to the regular guitar amp to demo the boost side more. The two pedals work together, and the idea is that the compressor always comes first and the boost always comes second. You can't switch that from what I can see from the manual. What you can do though, which is kind of cool with this, if you plug a volume pedal into the back of the Compadre, you can adjust the volume of your guitar sound, but it's post the kind of the boost and the compression, so you can still have your full kind of compression, your full guitar signal going into the compressor, but then adjust the volume. The second thing which is cool is via MIDI. If you use the sort of the MIDI on the TRS jack on the back, I believe you can have up to 300 different saved compression sounds. Kind of crazy. Who would want that? But so here's the sound without, and let's just boost every. it's as I said, it's kind of addictive once you start playing compression. Let's find perhaps a slightly more driven. I'm going to go over to the chime sound now because that's the AC30, and I suppose your classic combination of a boost into an AC30 would be to use the treble boost side of the Compadre. So I've got myself, I've switched over to the chime sound here, again using cabinet C, changed the EQ a little bit, driven it a little bit harder. So we've now got this, that kind of pumped up AC30 kind of vibe. Treble boost, treble mode engaged on the boost. Here we go. Of course, I didn't mention before, I can switch the boost to be dirtier if I want to. That might have been better to do over the clean sound. Maybe we'll revisit that, but... Why does that remind me of a Pete Townsend riff? Let's try it with the compressor. I don't think I've ever really used a compressor with an AC30. Let's see. Definitely adding that sparkle and a little bit of extra gain to the chime sound on the Iridium. Punch now. Let's again take a little break while I get a sound on the punch mode. So we're back in the room. Punch mode engage, which is the more vintage Marshally one. I've gone punch cab B, and you can see I've kind of gone again with a little bit extra bass and mid-range. It sounds like this. Now I've gone over to the mid-range boost. Oh, that's fat. And it says... could try the treble boost. I mean, oh no, that's thin. The flat mode. Again, I think the mid-range boost suits that kind of sound. Bit of compressor, why not? I mean, we're not that loud in here, and it sounds like I've gunned this to like 1,000,000 watts or something. Let's see what else. Studio. Actually, that's interesting. You can hear that the traditional squeeze, the pedal style compressor is a lot noisier than the studio compressor, which, I mean, I'm sure that's not built-in noise, but if anyone's ever used like a Boss CS3 or whatever, they'll know it's a pretty noisy pedal. So. Some really great tones coming out of this thing. Let's switch that to its dirty mode. So we'll put dirty boost over the top of the Marshall-y kind of tone. It works great, works much better than it did over the chime mode. I don't really like that treble boost in its dirty mode. It gets fizzy, but... Man, 2 pedals straight into a desk. I think this sounds blooming screaming. What do you think? I mean, I could go on. I could noodle and noodle and noodle, but I'm conscious of the fact that, you know, we're all busy people. So let's take a little break now, and we'll go. Now we'll just, I said I'll integrate the Compadre into my normal pedal board into a normal guitar amplifier. So what I'm going to do for this next bit is remove the... I've got a Wampler Ego Boost and a snake oil something very thing that I would traditionally use as a compressor and a boost. And so I'm just going to go straight into my normal pedal board instead of those two. So when I use a drive tone, it'll be a mix of either a Greer Lightspeed or a Thorpe Dane, and I'll just bung the Compadre over the top. Right, so amp, normal setup for me now, amp, guitar into the Compadre, and the Compadre now into the sort of most of my board. So it's going into the Lightspeed, then into a Dane, and I've got a load of Walrus pedals that I'm probably not going to use in this demo, but you've probably seen my board in previous videos. So here's nothing. So let's go through that again. Start with the studio compressor. Let's turn it up a little bit, just get a little bit more snap there. Oh, sounds wicked, man. I'm guessing this dry blend is a kind of a cool... I don't know. I said I'm not a compressor aficionado, but I think most of them probably, or a lot of them, don't have the ability to blend the dry signal back in, and I'm liking that, you know. Just gives it a bit of organicness back. I really like it. I think I like the studio compressor more than the squeeze. There's a bucket load more compression on squeeze than there is on studio. Anyway, so I'm gonna leave it on studio. This is my traditional kind of go-to mild dirt sound, which is the Lightspeed. So, and I would normally use a boost side to take me into sort of lead solo stuff. So let's see what happens. I've switched it back to clean boost. That's with it on its mid boost. If I flatten it, I like it. I don't think I've found a use for the treble boosted one. It's definitely not doing anything remotely tube screamery. I'm guessing it's just doing a treble boost, and I've only ever really heard of a treble boost being used into, you know, a Vox amplifier. I think maybe back in the day they might have used them into Marshalls, but it's adding too much brittleness on for me. So I'm going mid or flat for the boost. It's wicked. I like it a lot. This is the Dane drive. Now the Dane has its own boost side built in, so might be a bit of a pointless purchase if you already own a Dane, but I do like it. I like the flat boost. I think I'm going to go back to the light speed though. I like the flat boost. Let's try adding some compression over the top for a lead drive. It fattens it so much. It's definitely one of those effects that once you've turned it on, you're like, I just want to leave it on all the time. With a boost. I don't know what key I'm playing in anymore. There are some good tones in here. I didn't try it with the dirty boost, so let's finish this demo, flick it over to dirty boost. Something slightly nice about saying the words dirty boost. There you are, Cadbury's, if you're watching, there's an idea for you. We want the boost bar, but make it a dirty boost. Maybe add some peanuts or something. So this is dirty boost, just the Compadre now. I haven't got any gain pedals on the floor on. Let's go flat mode. think I've heard better dirty boost sounds. But I like the clean boost and I like the compression very much. The end. What do you think? So that's the Compadre. It hits the shops in June 2020. It's on our website now if you want to jump in and pre-order it, or if you're watching this a little later, maybe they're in stock already. It's $2.99, free shipping and all the usual stuff. I mean, Strymon always get it right with the look, don't they? I've always kind of thought if every single pedal on your board was a Strymon pedal, it would look mint. There you are. Any questions? Yeah, it doesn't really work like that, does it? Anyway, comments please below. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe if you do. Anyway, I've been the Captain. This was the Strymon Compadre. Over and out. Go well.